positivity, encouragement, and I know where to get it. Let's rise. Now, yeah, I got to get that out. Think about the tough times you've been through in the past, and at that moment, you didn't think you was going to make it, and you made it. All right, now you know what?
We don't need my answer. Okay, Lessette,
No, I want your answer. Go on, say your answer, please.
See, you know what?
I'm trying to put you out. I ain't trying to put you out.
Oh,
So you know what we did to him? We went to doggy daycare. Yes. We took him to doggy daycare, so maybe they can teach him some manners that maybe we can't teach him. And just remember that, you know what? You are directing your life within yourself. So whatever you want your life to be, whatever you do today is going to decide your future for tomorrow. So make sure you direct it carefully, all right? Come on, rise. Let's go higher, higher. When you enjoy something that you really enjoy, that you enjoy what you really enjoy, but you enjoy what you really do.
What did you just say? That messed me up.
Messed me up too.
I was waiting for the hair to go all over the place when you said that, but I think you got through it.
But
no, she did it anyway.
Howdy! How are you guys today? You know what? Welcome to the show. We have Margie Shepherd on the show today. So I want you to go ahead on and tell a neighbor, tell a friend to tune in today. We're going to bring her on in just a few minutes, but I'm telling you, we're really excited about her coming today. She's got a great story. And before we get on, Keone, I know you're
You
back there somewhere.
you
How
know
was
what I'm gonna tell you I'm excited about?
what?
I'm excited that you learned how the mute button works.
Whatever. Quack, 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 quack.
what would this
Whatever.
what would this show be if it wasn't a disaster? That's the beauty of doing this. I love it.
That's the way it rolls sometimes, but you know what? In the midst of it all, we still gonna have a great show. And by the way, I celebrated my birthday. Uh,
Oh, you are now a ripe age.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
48.
There you go. I'm 48. I like that.
You're 1 year older than me.
Okay. And my husband celebrated his birthday as well.
Oh, 78. Okay.
Oh, come on. Come. I'm gonna tell him. He's listening.
Ken said can't hear you. She figured it out, Ken. She figured out she needed to press the unmute button and then everything worked out perfectly. We got it.
But you know what? It is so good to be here today.
Mhm.
It's just the weather here is very nice here. I mean, it's nice, feeling so good out there. Like one day we got summer, next day we got winter. I mean, you don't know what to wear. But it's so good to be here. So, what about you, Keone? How did you spend your Christmas?
Let's see. Well, my mother ruined it as usual for me and my sisters, but me and my sisters have gone so accustomed to it. We just, my older sister took the brunt end of the ruining.
Really?
I Yeah, so she asked me to come for Christmas and said everyone's going to be here. So I said, "Who is everyone?" And here, I'll come on here with you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Exactly. That was quite interesting, Keone. I mean, it was quite interesting. I don't think they can hear you though, Keone. Okay, but um, yeah, but someone said they couldn't hear you. So, but anyway, we love this show today. We love Margie that will be coming on in a few minutes. And before I bring her on, I just want you to make sure you go tell a neighbor, tell a friend to tune in today to this beautiful survival story and to watch Margie Shepherd today. Okay. And by the way, if you cannot see the live, please let your friends know that they can watch the replay. And don't forget to subscribe to Keone Productions, all right? So now we're going to bring in Margie Shepherd. Come on.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I'm fine. Look at this.
Oh,
Look at this
Lizette,
beautiful lady.
Lizette, I just have to start by saying to you, thank you for having me on your show. I have followed you forever, and this was just a wonderful, wonderful invitation for me to accept. And thank you again.
Thank you for accepting the offer. This is so awesome. It's wonderful to have such a beautiful success story, a beautiful lady to come and share it. I'm excited. And so I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, Margie, okay?
Well, I am 78 years young. I started my working career when I was 15. I went to work as time went on for the Nutrisystem Corporation, climbed the corporate ladder, and became the regional director for franchise division on a national basis.
Wow.
My last tour, just to kind of fast forward, my last tour was ended up being for 5 states. We spun off over 25,000 work positions,
Wow.
uh, part time, full time, three-quarter time, you name it. We parlayed it into a very successful program for those individuals that really wanted to work and be of help to people.
Mhm.
I started my professional speaking career there, and from there, I would be requested to talk with other people, other organizations, and became an honorary member of your search and rescue team. So my speaking to various groups really paid off because I got to speak in front of a number of different groups that really have nothing to do with weight loss, except they all needed to lose weight. And they all had to learn and understand why weight loss is important.
Yes.
From there, after I retired the first time around, I set up a little company. And I've been dabbling and doing quite well ever since. I'm an author. I most assuredly have had the roller coaster ride in life, and every now and then it comes along, and I just hold on and say, "Bring it on." So, my book, my show, my the shows that I've had, the honors, it just goes on. But there was never a lull, never a gap, and there was never a question of, "What am I doing here?" It's
Right.
about knowing what you want to do. It's about having the confidence to step out and do it.
This
So
is
that's just a brief synopsis.
this is really good. I mean, let me just take it back just a few steps back. You said you was involved with Nutrisystem, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Does that really work? I mean, does it really, you know?
Yes. Oh, it did. But like anything else, it will only work if someone commits to the re-educational process of
Mhm.
one's eating habits. You can follow a regime, lose your weight, turn right around, go right back to the eating habits that you had before, and then some. And then they say, well, I gained 20 pounds more than what I started. But they don't look at themselves because it's all a re education of one's eating habits, lifestyle, and it is for life. It is for life if you want to keep your weight off. I dealt with, well, just to mention one, I dealt with the largest law enforcement group in the state of Ohio. I went in and I sat down and I talked to the chief, and there was another gentleman that came in who shot me down at every answer to any question I was asked.
Mhm.
The chief of police, I kept his attention. So, long story short, I put a special program together for all law enforcement under this
Wow.
particular umbrella. Every paycheck, we had a certificate in the envelope so that anyone could come to the weight loss program, a wife, a girlfriend. If they had children, it had to be supervised through their medical professionals. But it worked, and I'm very humbled but proud to say I retired number one in the industry, setting up of 5,000, pardon me, 25,000 different work positions. The experience of living in other communities. I mean, redneck, that was like a red flag, I'm telling you. So when you're talking to people in different states, different lifestyles, it's an education in itself.
Mhm.
On top of all of that, I
And you
had
were from California,
Yeah, I lived in California. I
right?
required 19 years of continued education, which would be equivalent in any of the colleges here today, a master's degree. in communication, business, and life science.
Margie, how old were you when you retired?
First, the first time I was about a little under, between 45 and 50.
Okay, 45. Oh, so the thing that we're about to talk about happened, basically 8 years after that.
That's
Um,
right. Hmm.
and hopefully everybody can hear me now. Um, but we're going to talk about, so you have a book
Yes.
called Travesty, right?
Yes.
Travesty. And I'm just going to read what it
Yeah.
says on the back.
Beautiful.
Oh, look at you. You got and you gave me the Lessette. This is how she almost made me cry in
Aw.
Vegas. She's got two transcripts, like
Mhm.
the actual transcripts. And she goes, here, have this one. And I'm like, what? I can't take your life transcript. Like, what are you talking about? You've got kids and grandkids. Don't give that to me. And she was
Wow.
insistent. So I have one of her transcripts, but it says, inspired by a true story, Travesty chronicles the life of Margie Shepherd, a 58-year-old woman who was abducted by her nurse from a plastic surgeon's private recovery room following breast surgery. 3 days later, Margie awakened in a hotel room to discover more than 19,000 missing from her checking account, an
Mm.
initial loss that soon balloons to nearly 3.5 million dollars.
Mm.
Discover Margie's persistence and relentless battle with lawyers, police investigators, a bank, and a medical industry in her dogged effort to achieve justice. When the national media finally discovers her plight, it is too late to jail the alleged perpetrators. Oh, that must have been the statute of limit. Well, I don't know why there'd be a statute of limitation on $3.5 million. But
That's
so
serious.
you were having breast surgery and you were abducted from your room. Was this a stranger or was this someone who worked in that doctor's office?
The nurse, um, the nurse was hired through a nursing agency.
Mhm.
You see, in California, um, medical setup, whether it be with a hospital or a medical building, let's just put it
Mhm.
like that. It was different then. You're not supposed to be in business with a layman, but yet he had like a layman as an office manager overseeing medical things.
Margie, pause for a second. Could you move? Because the sun's got that light coming down your face. Can you move to the left a little bit?
Oh, I sure can. In fact, here, let me, if it's, oh, excuse me, let's do this. How about that? Is that better?
No, it's still there. You gotta have to. There you go. The sun's shining a line down the middle of your head. There we
Oh,
go. And then I'll just adjust it from there. It's moving with you. Oh, it's like hard to dodge. Okay.
no. But no, the doctor, after I came to, I guess you'd say, I called the doctor's office. I was crying hysterically. Here were all these bags of Louis Vuitton handbags.
Mhm.
I was in my pajamas. My face was bandaged, my neck was bandaged, my chest was bandaged. I didn't even know where I was. You see,
Wow.
yeah, you see, Demerol can absolutely put you in a state, and you can be talking to somebody like we're talking now, and the very next day or in a couple days they won't have any memory of it. So
Mhm.
this opened up. This was more than a situation where a nurse over medicated me, and
Mhm.
I was in an ozone. I had absolutely no clue of her taking me out of the facility. When she took me into the bank, I was in pajamas. My head was wrapped. I had bandages around my chest. And I have pictures of those. The bank, though, went ahead and authorized
Mm.
$19,000. I had a checking a limit of 19,000. The bank went ahead and authorized and gave her $19,000.
Oh my God.
Um, you know, as I have looked back on this particular travesty,
Mhm.
it what people have to understand in today's world, things are a lot different. And then this nurse, we'll just go back to that for a moment. This nurse didn't work regularly for the doctor. She was called in for the first time
Oh, wow.
as an after surgery nurse.
Hmm.
When I did come around and I called the doctor's office, I was hysterical. They got the doctor to come to the phone. He was nice, but he thought by sending me some kind of a flower arrangement that it was going to make it all go away.
Oh, wow.
And no, and I didn't let it go away.
Isn't that silly? Mm, right.
That's right.
That's silly. Mm, mm,
That is exactly right. But then, as time would go on, it only became worse. Um, when the doctor realized I was not going to let the ball drop, I was going to do something about it. So then he decided, okay, he has more to lose, but if he brings that nurse on board and they're together, they could then go against me. And ultimately, I would then be put through hell, which I was. You see, when as we were going along, I reached out to the one of the top news stations that's located in Burbank, California. And I went in and I said, this is what's happened to me. And I showed some of the information that I had. And I was told, no, no, this isn't enough. This isn't enough. We need something more where this person is going to be arrested. Okay. So I then contacted the LA PD
hmm.
and I explained what was going on. I also picked up some um, additional paperwork, bills, billings that were provided to me because because this surgical facility and this surgeon wanted more money for things that I didn't really understand. But nonetheless, I went and I talked to a sergeant, and he said, okay, with what we have here, which didn't pertain to what she actually physically did to me, he said she is liable and guilty for various things here. She was trying to abscond money, additional money out of me, is what she was trying to do. So the police said, yes, he said, we can't, we've got something here. But again, it would only be a slap on the hand, is all that.
Ain't gonna happen.
Mhm, that's right. I believe 2012, the latter part of 2011, going into 2012. Pardon me, 2012.
Now
Yeah.
he was really he you know he I don't know what he was thinking. The
Well,
doctor
yeah,
for
he was
sure.
thinking about his reputation. You see, and when I talked to the higher echelon in regards to that building, and to the medical facility that it was associated with. It's very well known, and I believe it's documented, which is Cedar Sinai. And Cedar Sinai, they are not, they put their name up there, Cedar Sinai Hospital, but there are a lot of doctors in there that rent the space. Their practice has nothing to do with Cedar Sinai. So there
Wow.
was no way to pull Cedar Sinai into this. There was no way to do that. I did acquire an attorney. No, contingency was out of the question, but he did come highly recommended. And
Mhm.
there were things that were brought up, like in one of the depositions, like the nurse and her husband had developed a quote unquote church, and the two of them would go door to door to door requesting money for a church
Oh,
that didn't
wow.
exist,
That's crazy.
that did not exist. Um, mhm, mhm.
Mm.
The it was oh no, 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 no. This was approximate 3 years worth. But here, but here's again.
Mhm. For sure.
Mhm.
Mm. Mhm.
Well, what I did though, I do want to let you know a lot of my efforts in terms of getting somebody to take me seriously. Um, the In one of the depositions, the attorney representing Wells Fargo, that was the bank, it's a matter of record.
Mhm.
He was arrogant, he was rude, but at the end of the final deposition, he put a lien on my property in Reno. 1 week after that particular deposition, I get a letter and from this company that had put a lien on my house that was charging me daily a very high interest off of the value of my home. And in 6 days, it was already up to $18,000. And I'm going, what is this? So I contact the company, and the company tells me that yes, Wells Fargo put this lien on my property. And I said, why? They said, well, we don't know that. I said, you went ahead, you put a lien on my property, and you do not know what, where, when, why, or how?
Keone, excuse me. Keone, can some okay. All right.
Is this? So about 10 days out now, I'm back on the phone with management regarding the lien company. I said I want to see the court order or whatever a judge has signed that's going to state that he gave authorization to
Mhm.
put a lien on my house. You just can't walk in and do that, because if you can do that legally, I want to put a lien on Wells Fargo.
Right.
Okay, so as it turns out, the manager, I had him right there in the palm of my hand. He said, "We don't have anything. We just got a call, and we just did what the attorney's office said." So I said, "All right, I want a copy of that. I've talked to my attorney. My attorney says he wants a copy of that." He said, "Well," he said, "we can request it from the bank."
Mhm.
I said, "Fine, let's request it from the bank." I said, "So now, because we didn't go into court for this,
Mhm.
I was never received a notification of any kind of a direct order to put a lien on my property."
Right.
He said, "If they will not provide us with a document that was ordered by a court, a judge. He said, we can drop this. We can drop the lien on your property.
Mm.
And I said, okay, this is wonderful. Place the demand slash request. He said, give me 72 hours because we'll send it. Somebody have to look at it and then they have to respond back. It could come back sooner, but at least 72 hours. Okay. It came back that they didn't have anything. This was something an attorney representing Wells Fargo did
Wow.
all on his own. But then this wasn't the only thing because you see, I pushed hard with the news station. I went back
Right.
and I said, look, this is what we're finding out about this girl. Here is the fact. Here's what my attorney has found. Well, lo and behold, the network did do an interview on me as to what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
The police that saw some things, though it wasn't directly related to what happened to me, but they could arrest her for the items that they saw, because long and the short of it was a demand for more money is what it was. So the news station went out and they followed her. She was ultimately arrested. But
Good.
well, she was arrested, but here again, she was in jail for a short time, and they let her out because they said, well, we just don't have enough evidence. I said, you don't have enough evidence. Take a look at these pictures.
Right.
In the meantime, I stood my ground. I won my positioning so far as Wells Fargo went
Mm-hmm.
in regards to the attorney who thought he was going to wave a power stick over me and I was going to crumble. I didn't crumble. I won that battle. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
mhm,
For sure.
mhm,
Oh my God.
mhm,
We have.
mhm.
Mm. That's sad.
Mhm, mhm. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, if he would have kept his position to side with me and to let it be known that she had never worked for him before. She works through an agency. If he would have stood by me, she would have been arrested. She would have been tried, and she would have done jail time. But the doctor, who took a major turn, had talked with his attorney, and he said, make her go away because obviously Cedar Sinai or this doctor and the medical community there, they certainly had more clout than I did. They definitely had more money than I did. And all they wanted me to do was go away. But I didn't let this all drop. After everything was said and done, and I wasn't going to be able to go anywhere with this, I wrote the book. And
Yes, by the way, Keone, they say they still can't hear you. But you know what? But you know what? I just can't help but think about Margie. What were you thinking? How did you feel when you woke up from the medication? What did you see, and how did you feel? What did you know at the time?
I was uh, I was confused, to say the least. I was very confused. I saw all of these shopping bags full of Louis Vuitton handbags, wallets, etc. And they were all over the floor. I believe the total purchase came out to be something like
Oh my
seven
God!
thousand dollars. And I
Where
didn't
were you? Excuse me. Where were you when you came through?
in the hospital, pardon me, in the hotel room where a lot of patients who were coming to LA to have medical procedure done.
Hmm.
I had come down twice. The third time was to have the procedure,
Oof.
and I made the arrangement with the hotel. I was referred there, and this gal took me on a joyride in a limo after she took me out of the facility. And in order for her to take me out of the facility, you see, I would have had to sign a
Yeah.
release. I would have had to sign a release, and I did sign a release, but I didn't know I was signing a release. The
That's
medication that they had me on, and she was medicating me, I believe, more than what the doctor wanted. I believe she deliberately knew what she was doing, but the medication is Demerol.
mhm.
Now, after all said and done with all of this, it was the following year that a ruling was made about the medication Demerol.
Mhm.
Demerol, again, this medication, depending on how much you've been given, but you can be in a total blackout state, not even know it, stand there talking to you just like we're talking now,
Mhm.
and not have a memory of doing it.
Wow.
Whenever it is, you come out of it. The state, the DEA, the state, they'd been investigating that particular drug for a very long time.
Mhm.
It was ruled that that medication would not be able to be used in the capacity of which it was being administered to me. In other words, when you're coming out of a surgical procedure, you
Right.
can't use Demerol. They've got to do something else. So it wasn't because of my case that that ruling was done. They'd been investigating it for a long time, but with the legal that was going on, my case and that drug was definitely in the system. So I like to think that it might have helped in some way to get a positive decision made to stop the
Okay.
use of Demerol.
Well, let me ask
Lissette,
you this.
this is a good question by Clarence Lissette. Can you read that one out loud? Because I don't know if
Yes,
they can hear me.
he said. Clarence, one of the viewers on the show today, said, "I wonder if they had done the same thing to someone else."
I would venture to say that yes. I would venture to say yes.
Mm.
The girl, uh, what else was discovered was she was putting herself through school. She and her husband, she was married. She and her husband were putting themselves through school. So they started this scam
Mhm.
program in regards to the church. And then I believe with how in depth she went to get me out of the facility, to get me to sign or go to get those Louis Vuitton bags to take me into the bank. I
Mm.
believe she's done this before.
Wow.
She's done this before, but she got away with it.
But
But
you know what? You know what's so interesting, Margie? To me, I'm thinking like they could have killed you. I mean, they could have. No telling what they could have done to you.
mhm.
Did you think that?
Uh-huh. No, it was a very scary time. It was a very scary time, but I didn't. I was so enraged at what had happened, all the way down to the bank putting a lien on my house because he wants to show me he is the power, and that's what that was about. But I didn't at any time step back, boo hoo,
Mm-hmm.
and just figure, well, I guess I have to sell my house because of no, no. The word no never applies. Where there's a will, there's a way. And
Right.
I found it and I stayed on it and I got that lien dropped. There was no order. We were not in court. I had done nothing, and they could not produce a document showing that there was an order to put onto my house, much less a reason.
Right.
I mean, I didn't do business with Wells Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
No, this was all about ego and showing me who had the power. But I beat him at his own game, so I feel pretty good about that.
Did they actually have did you actually get pictures or video of you actually being in the bank all wrapped up?
Yeah, yes, I don't have any of the video, but I do have some stills
Hmm.
of me at the bank. And no, you can't tell it's me. And no, I was not in designer jammies. I was just in frumps. I mean,
That's
flannel baggies, and that's it.
That's
that's a
crazy.
huge failure on the bank. So I could just wrap Lissette up in some look like a mummy, take her in there, and if she's
Right.
got all the information, you can get what you want. Oh
That's
man.
amazing.
How
Yeah,
did it go from 19,000 to 3.5? Or is that just like the expense you had to partake in over those 3 to 5 years of
every
dealing with all of this?
every expense was calculated into that.
Mm, mm,
Whether whether it was travel, because I was in Reno, and to do depositions I had to go to LA.
Mm.
And in being in LA, sometimes I would have to be there a week or more, and again staying at the hotels. The amount of money uh, that ultimately was spent for the surgeries, it was a double surgery.
mhm.
um, my face and my breast. Uh, the only other positive I can say is that the surgeon did a superior job. But as far as I'm concerned, the level of a score of 10 fell to a sub zero
Mm.
with his mentality of thinking flowers, we're going to make it all
Oh,
right.
good Lord.
So in California, has been different for many years.
Mhm.
I'm not speaking in the tone of any political. I'm speaking just in generality as to the people in the so-called power
Mhm.
and what was going on at that time. And it's still going on. It's still going on big time. So there were, I did get, yeah, I should remember this, filed an action with the nursing board. And with what I was able to supply there, she was chastised and penalized.
Okay.
So I was able to get that done as well. But when it came right down to it,
Mhm.
it was the cards were stacked too high and too far against me at every turn. So I'm happy, like I said, I won the issue with Wells Fargo in terms of what the attorney ordered to show me who had the power. I got the nurse cited through the nursing board. The news station, when they finally jumped on board, they did a good job. They
Hmm.
followed her and they put it on the news, and this became national news.
Wow.
Oh, wait, so you're talking about the part where they follow her, and that's when they caught her going door to door getting money from people. Is that the
No,
part?
no, no, they didn't know. No, it wasn't for that. It was for actually to do with the case.
Hmm.
Okay.
Actually to do with the case. And the news media, they get things on their wire that the police are going to do. And the policeman said, I think we have enough to arrest her. So the news media followed where the police were going to be. They got her on camera as being arrested, and literally her hands were in handcuffs. And
Oh,
I
Oh,
wow.
I thought, wow, this is really, finally, I mean, something positive is going to be done here. They didn't keep her in jail very long. The what do you call it? The district attorney at that time, she went on vacation. She was
mm,
going to be gone a month. She knew about the case from the start to where we were. She went on vacation, and whoever got her cases, they didn't know anything. They were not prepared going into court. They were not prepared going into court at all. And as a result of that, the case was thrown out. She was set free.
mm. Was you able to get any of your monies or anything back? Was you able to get anything back?
No, not directly from that situation.
Mm,
Um, when I wrote the book, um, I took the book on several book tours, including the largest book fair in the world, which is London, England.
okay.
And I learned a lot of different things about writing a book and taking it to certain book fairs. And I had been requested to do book signings, of which I did. I did book sales. Nothing like I would have liked, but I can say that I got the story out there successfully, and there was a lot of interest in it. And I think there still would be if perhaps a movie was done.
Wow.
I mean, to come right out with and just
She wants Meryl Streep to play her. I already know it. I already know. That's a plus. She
no.
wants
Right now,
Meryl.
I'm trying to study to be Meryl Streep. No, but I do think that it could be a very strong story, especially all the different things that are being discussed. And again, I'm not making a political preference, but where we hear about how millions and billions of dollars have been absconded, and frauds and so forth. I mean, why was why was Wells Fargo Bank? Why did they think they could get away with
Right.
putting a lien on my property?
Because that's how it works. I mean, fraud is a billion trillion dollar industry
It is,
in
and
this country. And it's crazy. There's so many loopholes. The frauditors have more protection than the people who are getting frauded.
exactly. And but again, I think with a good write on the storyline,
Mhm.
a really good write on the storyline, and have it based off of a true story. I think if it were done well done, I think it could open the eyes to a lot of people
Yes.
as to what their experiences have been in the medical world. The procedures that I had done, one was because I am a cancer survivor, big time, and the breast portion of the surgery,
Hmm.
there was question as to had it come back. So it didn't, but that was the reason that I even went for that particular procedure. Insurance doesn't pay. They don't pay for anything. Doesn't matter if you were scalded, burned to death. It doesn't matter. The insurance companies do not pay for anything, even if the specialist, the surgeon, plastic or otherwise, can validate. This is
Wow.
not cosmetic for cosmetic procedure. This is in regards to the patient being a former cancer survivor. She had definite indications that something was seriously wrong,
Right.
and they did have to reconstruct the area because I had developed capsulations that had to be removed. The capsulations were full of infection.
Mm.
Yeah, so this
So,
is this wasn't a beauty trip. This was
Right.
something that medically had to be done. You know, we just talked about fraud. I don't want to go on a rant, but you just talking about fraud and insurance. Those are the biggest frauditors in the dang world.
For
Um,
sure.
I was at the hospital 2 weeks ago, and this guy was losing his mind in the emergency room because he was looking at the chart, and he goes, "Let me get this straight. This is going to cost $650 if I have insurance, but here it says it's 485 if I don't have insurance." He goes, "What am I
Wow.
paying insurance for?"
Exactly.
mhm, exactly is you're absolutely
Yeah, they
right.
try so hard not to pay for things as you're dishing out money on a monthly basis that they're taking and investing somewhere and making more money. And then when you need some money, it's, well, here's 9 million reasons why we can't give it to you.
You know, I remember when I think I was very I think I had the I was really sick one time. I went to the ER, and as soon as I was in pain, and they were just walking past me. They okay, we're gonna come back here and get your vital signs. Then they send me back outside. We don't out in the waiting area. We don't have enough room. You know, we don't have a room back there. You got to go back in the waiting area. Great. So they did that mess. Did the MRI. Did the X-ray. Did all kind of things. I still did. I mean, I was there for maybe like 6, 7, 8 hours. Still didn't give me anything for pain. I was in there for pain, still in pain, never got anything for pain. So they finally took me back there. They gave me an IV, and they said, I said, you know what? I'm hungry. I don't feel like being bothered with this. I said, get it out. I said, take the IV out. They took the IV. I went home, cooked me some salmon and rice, and I felt better.
You were just hungry. You weren't sick. You were hungry.
I know I
You
was
just
really
needed,
sick, but
you
I just
just
didn't want to
needed
be
to
bothered.
eat. No,
Well,
all three of us are old enough to remember, like back in the 90s. Remember what the horrible time where if you didn't have insurance, you could literally just die in the emergency room? Like they wouldn't see you. You had to wait and wait and wait. And now we're at
Mhm.
the time of if you go to emergency room, they're going to see you. Oh, jeez.
3 years ago, I thought I had a cold. So I went to one of the ERs affiliated with a particular hospital here in Las Vegas. I
Mhm.
went in. Yes, I did the X-ray, and this lady comes over, and she's a doctor, or I think she's a doctor, and she said, "You've got some mucus buildup, whatever." He said, "I'm going to order you some medication, and I want you to take it. And if you're not feeling any better, come back." I said, "Okay." So I get in the car and I drive to my pharmacy in Walmart. I go in and I said, "I'm here to pick up medications, blah, blah. I just left the facility." And they said, "Oh, we couldn't fill those medications." "Oh, why?" "The doctor's not licensed to write prescriptions."
Oh my God.
What? How does that doctor not know that?
She does know it. It's the medical world is out of hand. The medical world is out of hand.
Yes.
So I said, "Well, I tell you what, why don't you call back over there and ask to the doctor in charge? Why don't you just do that and tell them that the patient is really sick
Yes.
Ugh.
and what has happened. And if in fact they don't get it straightened out in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to go back and we're going to have a conversation.
For
And I
sure.
don't feel good, and I'm cranky as hell when I don't feel good."
There we
If,
go.
hey, society is learning, hey, maybe not mess with Margie. She doesn't let it go. She will come back and
I
get you. But
really,
you're right. This is out of control. I went to, you know how if you live long enough, sometimes when you have a symptom, you know what the problem is,
Hmm.
yeah,
right? So I've had strep throat at least 4 times in my life, which is
too.
crazy. So I know exactly how it feel when it's coming on. So I go to the hospital and I said, "Hey, I have strep throat. You know, get the antibiotics because just a cough drop's not going to do anything, right?"
Right.
And
Yeah.
so the doctor, one of the doctors comes and goes, "How do you know you have strep throat?" I said, "Because I've had it 3 times and I know exactly what it feels like." So
Mm-hmm.
he does all these. He says, he comes back, goes, "We're going to do a bunch of tests. And have
There
you
you
ever
go.
had an epidural?" I
Yeah.
said, "What?" He goes,
Mm-mm.
"Yeah, we're going to give you an epidural because you might have mono." I
Oh my
said, "An
God.
epidural? Are you crazy?" And
Oh no.
so he leaves, and another doctor comes in and he goes, "Hey, everything that doctor just told you, yeah, don't worry about it. You have strep throat. We're going to give
Oh
you
my. This is
antibiotics
crazy.
and
Mm.
That's
you
crazy.
can go. You explain your symptoms. You sound like you know what's going on. We're just gonna
Exactly.
get you the antibiotics." And I said, "Are you sure Dr. House is not gonna come back
Oh,
and make me get an
Dr.
epidural?"
Frankenstein.
Yeah, I'm like, just some doctors are just like, "Hey, we're order." And the good thing is I have to go to the VA. I don't have to, but I go to the VA because I'm a veteran. But the doctor, I could hear him telling the guy, because it was a young doctor, he says, "Listen, you better be glad he's in the VA." He goes, "If you go to a regular hospital, you can't just be ordering up 90 tests. He's got to pay for that.
mhm.
Someone's got to pay for this."
That's right.
Exactly. You know,
It's
I
crazy.
just recently I got a bill to renew my secondary insurance. And I look at this. I mean, are you ready?
I'm ready.
The policy numbers are different than the ones on my regular policy that I've had for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Policy number is different. They increased my monthly payment by $65.
Hmm. Oh no.
And when I called, they said, "Well, we're not sure. Can you call back?" I said, "My insurance agent will call you, and it is my sincere hope that you're going to get this rectified like as of immediate, because if you don't, the state insurance board for medical insurance is going to get a letter. And if they're real lucky and I'm in the mood, I'm going to give them a phone call too."
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm never gonna. Okay, Margie, I'm just gonna stay on your good side. I don't want no letters. I don't want. I don't want. But hey, listen, listen. Now,
Yeah.
Margie can write a stern letter. We're not going to get into this story, but because it'll go deep. But just to give you a quick summary, a guy was trying to get her to help, was supposedly help run a company, a media company.
Mm-hmm.
But when she got the email, when she looked at the way it was worded, he kind of wanted her to do all the work and he reap all the benefits. And her
Wow.
response to him was just gold. She like undressed this guy in this long email from top to bottom. And I'm like, where do you get like, I would have just told him to take a hike, but she told him to take a hike in the most destructive way possible.
You
Um,
know, if
but
you
Oh,
Lissette
don't,
is a big proponent of, because Lissette, you're a breast cancer survivor, correct? Cancer survivor, correct?
a cancer survivor, but not a breast
Cancer.
cancer.
Okay.
What I was going to have cancer of my foot.
Hmm.
I
mhm,
was going to have that, but they found it in time. So I thank God for that.
That's from kicking Ken too much. You had
I
to stop
think
kicking
so.
him when he was little. Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
so. Maybe
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, you kicked him a lot, and he probably said, "I hope you get cancer in that foot," and then that's what happened. So no, but the whole synopsis of today is I love people who have the never give up attitude because life, especially when you're done wrong, will try to present itself for you to just quit and give up and say this is too much, and then everybody gets away
Mm-hmm.
um, with what they did to you. Um,
mhm.
and that can be disheartening because even though you got through it, some things happen. I'm looking at it, and me, I wouldn't have been satisfied with what happens, but enough happened for you to be satisfied. Because still, people didn't get the maximum amount of punishment that they deserved in this
No,
scenario.
I
you
know.
know, you're absolutely right, and I don't think that I think that every state is different, just like there's no two people alike. I think that your higher echelons, this particular surgeon was very, very influential. It wouldn't have taken all that time or the up and down roller coaster or any of the medical issues that I developed as a result of that stress factor. So, but I didn't give up, and I recommend it to anyone. If you've got an issue and you believe that you have been not only taken advantage of, how about just flat out ripped off? Don't settle for, well, there's nothing I can do. You may not get 1,000,000,000% of what it is you'd like to do, but anything
Mm-hmm.
that you can do to establish that you have overcome or that you made them sit up, take notice, and eat a little bit of crow.
Okay.
That's an inspiration for others to say, you know what? Maybe I should have taken a much more assertive attitude back in the day. Or if something happens more currently,
Mm-hmm.
that they're going to take a position of I'm going to find out. I'm going to push and I'm going to find out if I can get some form of restitution. And sometimes it's just um, personal satisfaction. You know, I wished I'd gotten a lot of money from Wells Fargo, but instead I lost a lot of money to Wells Fargo. But I did, like I mentioned, I did win out on the putting a lien on my house.
Let me ask you something. What do you think it would have helped, Margie, if was someone there with you, like if a family member or someone there with you when you went to
Well,
surgery?
no, no, there was not. And what had to be set up before the surgery, and again, this particular hotel, it
Mhm.
was just a few minutes away from the hospital, and the limo servicing quite often would take patient to the facility and then bring them back.
Mhm.
I was told initially that I really wouldn't after they felt that I could be released to go back to the hotel. I just needed to rest. I would be going home in about 5 days. I would have to go back to the surgeon in 2 days and then again. But the bandages would have been off, and I would have been able to get on a plane and um, go back to Reno, and that um, there was no need to have anybody there. But
Okay.
I mean, who would have thought Cedar Sinai, one of your top plastic surgeons, and
Mhm.
I mean who deals with a lot of your more influential people, who would have thought? And by the time I would leave there, I would have known that where I was going. I would have known or recognized the
Mhm.
driver who was scheduled to come and pick me up.
Mhm.
Who would have guessed some nurse taken out of a registry? She saw somebody that because I didn't have anybody coming, she
Mhm.
wanted to take
Yeah.
advantage. And it was deliberate. It
Wow.
was deliberate.
This is crazy. You know what? I have a question. What did this experience take from you? Good or bad? What did this experience take from you, and what positive uh thing that it actually gave back to you?
Well, the initial happening and realizing that I could have died in no uncertain terms definitely put a bigger fear in me. So I do not hesitate to question. and ask questions that whether anybody wants to think they're important or they're not important, it does not matter.
Yes.
It's got to make sense to me.
Mhm.
I was afraid. I was very much afraid, but that only lasted through the healing process. And
Mhm.
with each and every day going forward, uh, I became more and more and more determined. I lost a lot of money. I realized that going forward, it doesn't matter if somebody's got a so called pristine reputation in the world of medicine, or buying a car or buying a house, an inspector to inspect your house, supposedly,
Mhm.
to give a clean bill so that the buyer isn't going to inherit somebody else's problems, except we got a problem with some of these inspectors. They take the money, they walk in, look around, oh, we're all done. And that's it. I mean, I can tell you a number of things that I've experienced throughout my 79 years young. And I do add young because I can run rings right around the majority of these individuals out there.
Hey, leave me out of this, Margie.
No,
Why am I catching strays? What does this have to do? No, I'm going to tell you, Lissette. So when I go to Vegas, Margie likes to pick me up from the airport
Okay.
and spoil me. But literally, I'm the whole day, like 2 days later, not when I flew back from the airport.
mhm.
I'm doing some work. She's doing some work. We finally meet up to have lunch or whatever. And then we go about town because, I'm looking at places to move there. And just the things that she's doing, her and Anna. How old is Anna again?
Oh, Anna is 81.
Anna's 81. We go to Anna's office, and Anna and her are moving about the town at lightning speed. And I'm back here at 47 going, what are they taking? I can't keep up.
That's
Well,
crazy.
I'll tell you something that is a real important thing to consume internally as well as externally. And that's a very, very, very good concentrate
Tequila.
of not calcium, collagen. I almost said calcium, but collagen. And I mean, it helps to heal on the inside, your tissues. You feel like, oh, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. But if you're on a good regime, it'll do more than keep you going. People will have a hard time slowing you down.
So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm
Need
gonna
some of
look
that.
into collagen and I'm gonna get rid of all the bottles of tequila that I have because I don't think tequila is helping me as much as the collagen would be
Definitely
helping.
need some of that.
Well, Margie, thanks for sharing your story. It just fascinates me. I mean, this
It does.
to go and have surgery and to be under anesthesia and then you wake up and you're in a motel. That's I can't the amount of how scared 99% of people would be.
Hmm.
First thing I'd be looking down is like, did they steal my organs?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
that's just crazy. And
Yes.
and it wasn't a like she put you in at the end. You were in some Fleabag motel somewhere?
No, the hotel was okay. We're not talking the Beverly Hills level, but it was a nice hotel. People were very nice. Also, these people at the hotel came forth and gave a deposition as to the state I was in when this nurse brought me into the hotel when she finally got around there. There were three employees that saw me all the time, and her coming in and out before I actually came out of the state of what Demerol had done. So, but that didn't make any difference. It was just shoved aside. So the system is, I mean, what we're finding out now that where fraud is going on and how different money institutions are doing things their way so that they make it. People like you and myself, hey, We are at their mercy to a degree. So I don't have a problem any longer. If I question something, I don't care who you are, I'm going to ask you. And if I don't have an answer that I am totally satisfied with, I'm
Mhm.
going to ask you again in a different way.
That's good.
Cool. Okay. Sounds like a mom.
I love
All
it.
right. Well, thank you, Margie, for being on, and thank you for
Margie.
sharing your story. Okay.
Listen, it's my pleasure, and I hope any of those that are listening learned something from today. If you could take away just one thing that we've talked about or a topic that's been brought up, take it and want to learn more.
Margie, you're awesome. And someone said over there in the comment section that you're pretty awesome. And they wish you the very best. That's coming from Clarence Cornegay. So thank you so very, very much, Margie. Like Keone said, you just made my day. And I definitely, have gotten some great nuggets from what you just said. So mm, thank
Uh,
you.
Thank
it's,
you, Margie.
it's my pleasure, and have a fabulous day and an awesome new year.
Same
Thank
to
you.
you,
New
Same.
Margie.
resolutions.
Happy New
Uh,
Year.
thank
Happy
you.
New Year, dear. Bye bye.
Bye.
Lissette, that was a good one. Well, we had Mondays. Maybe we should do the show on a Tuesday. Monday, we have technical issue Monday.
It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get it right.
I, I know what it is. I think I made Ken an admin, and I think what he does is he goes in the system and he sabotages me.
Gosh, Ken, do you do that?
I think he does. I think he sabotages me. You know,
He said,
and
"Whoa,
what's crazy is what's Ken's last name?
Stevenson."
I'm a Stevens too. We should be like two peas in a pod.
All right, yeah, you should. Y'all work on it.
We
Woo.
just not do it. Well,
Bye.
I could tell you this. Whew, I don't know. I had an issue with my last employer, and I had to sue them. And I was a government employee, so there's only a max amount that you can sue for anyway. And um, that went on for like 3.5 years. And what makes me annoyed till this day is
Mhm,
when they came to me, which of course you can't ever talk about the amount or anything like that. You sign a thing for that. But when they came with me with an amount, it was a good amount, but it wasn't the satisfactory amount that I wanted. But I didn't, it was already 3.5 years in, and I didn't want to do another 2 years or more. So I
mhm.
settled and took that, which, and now looking back on it, I wish I didn't.
I understand. I
I
mean, because
wish I would have went more, but
sometimes they want you to settle, and you just got to be straight up. If I don't get mine, you're not gonna get yours.
yeah, there you mind. You're not gonna get yours. That's crazy. All right. Well, thank you. Listen, I'll let you take us. I'll let you take us home.
Well, look, everybody, thank you for being on Rise with Lissette live talk show. I really appreciate you joining in today. And just remember, as you go into your new year, leave all that ugly old stuff behind in this 2025 and walk on over there to 2026, doing some great things and looking towards the future and trusted in God. All right. You be blessed and have a happy 2026. Bye bye.